Is it right to use bugs and exploits to get an advantage? While some of you say yes, and others say no, ethics is not always black and white. We're about to get our ethics on.
Let's get ethical, ethical.
Exploits, bugs, and glitches are in every game that has ever been made. Some affect only your experience, while some affect others' experiences and give a clear advantage. And those are the ones that we're going to look at here, the ones that give you an advantage in multiplayer games. While single-player glitches can fall under an ethical dilemma as well, I just don't care if you use exploits in a single-player game. We're going to look at 4 basic ethical theories, and in each one we'll discuss how it may apply to bugs and glitches in online gaming. This won't go the way you think, or maybe it will, I don't know. Before we blow your mind in Ethical Theory 101, if you like this video or the discussion, give it a like and let me know. Then hit the subscribe and notification button so you don't miss when new videos come out on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and streams on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 p.m. If you're looking for news on all things Star Wars related, check out our partners at StarWarsGaming.net. They have all kinds of articles and information that will keep you up to date on your favorite Star Wars games. Stick with me till the end and we'll play Can I Get Up There?, where we see what we can get on top of. Some of it's useful, most of it's not, but Spider Heavy has changed my life. We've also hit 1,000 subscribers, so I do need to be a little more careful on these copyrights. And holy crap, did I mention we hit 1,000 subscribers? That is amazing. This puts us 3 months ahead of what I had originally planned, and I'm super stoked about that. With that, there will be a video next week about a giveaway, since we have hit the 1,000 subscriber goal. I just wanted to give something back to thank you guys for coming back and watching these videos, and just your support in general. It really does mean the world to me. So we're going to start off easy, and on one that's a little bit more black and white than some of the others we'll talk about, and that's virtue. Virtue, or henceforth known as Jedi ethics.
The Jedi are selfless. They only care about others.
Is the idea that character is the only thing that really matters. Motivations in this train of thought need to be in the best interest of others, so things like compassion, empathy, courage to do what's right, and wisdom is what guides them.
The Sith rely on their passion for their strength. They think inwards, only about themselves.
And the Jedi don't.
Jedi ethics, while great to live by, it's impossible to do in real life. And it doesn't always apply to video gaming. Gaming is all about working out tension and relaxing, and getting up that adrenaline in a safe environment. And if you've ever used voice chat built in to a game, you know exactly what I mean when I say virtue ethics or Jedi ethics do not apply to us as a community. Virtue ethics don't apply to most gamers, so it's hard to look at any choice a gaming community makes, since many times we're playing a different character or role than we would normally play in our personal lives. If we focus solely on if it's in your character to use a bug or a glitch, it's really hard to judge since, we play a violent video game, which alone can be viewed as unethical, since we don't show much compassion or care to what happens when you cut a Wookiee down with a lightsaber. So I don't really feel virtue ethics really would apply here, or really ever in life, since everyone's got to pay the bills, and greed is probably not ranked very positively in this model. Which brings us to an ethical theory that may actually apply here, and the one that I generally fall in agreement with, and that's utilitarianism. Utilitarianism is basically
The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
calm down, my fellow nerds. There's more Star Wars clips coming. You can be fans of both.
So say we all.
Or all three. This line of thinking is that every action has a positive and negative effect on the world, and the goal here is to take the action that has the least negative effect possible. In the instance of Spock here, his actions may have caused suffering to himself and the rest of the crew, but by sacrificing himself or sacrificing one for the many, less people are negatively affected by one death than a whole crew's death. So let's take a look at how this affects a bug or a glitch in game. Player A is using a bug such as the DC-15 LE with explosive shot, and he is having a positive effect from using this weapon. This puts everyone he kills in the negative effect category. So right now we're already at a negative surplus here, since more than one player is having a negative effect to player A's actions. Player B, who gets killed by player A using said weapon, then says fine, if he's using it, I'm going to use it too, and so on and so forth, causing a chain reaction of negative consequences that stretch over several different matches, causing a virus outbreak effect. This would make using the weapon unethical since in the scenario, there's a net negative. But let's say player A, because he's using the bugged weapon, is doing better than normal, which allows his team to win. Now that a positive outcome from using the weapon has helped his whole team, who may go on to use the weapon in their future games to help other teams win, or player B from before may win more matches since he's now using this weapon as well, may cause a chain event of more people winning from the bug or exploit, and therefore positively affecting whole teams who may not even be aware that this is happening. So from this point of view, it would be unethical not to use the weapon, since your team is going to lose if you don't. This gives it a positive impact, and it can be argued that this reasoning makes it ethical to use the bug or glitch in order to win. Now, in this case, player B's team is at a net negative, and player's A team would be a net positive.
Truly, you have a dizzying intellect.
Wait till I get going!
If you expand this out far enough, you'll most likely come to a 1-to-1 ratio of positive to negative. This is due to the same number of players being on each team, so each team gets a positive and a negative in that amount. And if the teams are not even, then using a bugged weapon may help the outnumbered team win, and therefore it would be possible that there's more of a positive impact than a negative impact in there, and it may bring some balance to the teams. But that brings us into Kantianism. So let's take a look at Kantianism. This line of thinking is that the motives behind the actions are what makes them ethical or not. If you do the wrong thing but for the right reasons, it would be considered ethical, and if you do the right thing for the wrong reasons, it would be considered unethical. For instance, if you give money to charity, and let's say a homeless shelter, and you're doing it only to get recognized for giving a large amount of money, that would be considered unethical, since the reason for giving the money was for personal gain and not really to help others. Or let's say you steal some food, but you do it to feed a friend or a family member. That would be considered ethical, since you're not stealing for personal gain, but you're doing it to help another person, even though it may be wrong. So let's apply this line of thinking to the current state of the DC-15LE with explosive round. We then have to look at the player's motivations behind their actions. And believe it or not, the majority of people playing this game are not out on YouTube or Reddit and may think that the current state of the explosive shot is planned and on purpose. In this case, it's ethical for them to be using it. They're not only using it to troll other players or be annoying, they honestly consider it to be the way it was designed, making their motivations pure since they want to do the best they can and find they do better with this weapon. Or let's say that you've used this weapon before the bug came out. If you started using it again, you may think your primary weapon just got a buff, and therefore you don't think anything of it and don't believe that you're doing anything that is outside the norm. But then on the other side, let's look at the way that I use it. And yes, I'm calling myself out. When I stream, sometimes, I like to play Blast. A lot. And when this weapon first came out as bugged, I used it every other match knowing it was bugged. I used it because I knew it was overpowered, and I knew that I could use it to troll and annoy other players. This would make my actions unethical, and I am not a perfect person, so don't judge. In this theory, it's up to each individual player to decide if they are in fact doing something that is ethical or not, since it's not possible to tell others' motivations without them explicitly telling you. So we don't really get a clear answer here either, and an argument can be made either way on whether or not it's ethical. And if we take it to the point where people know it's bugged but use it anyway, but do it because they know that they're doing better, is it unethical for them to use it since the goal of any game is to do the best that you can? So with them using the weapon even though they know it's bugged, but because they're doing better, doesn't necessarily make it unethical, and it doesn't really make it ethical either. So there is kind of a gray area here in the I don't care column. Finally, we come to the ethical theory that applies to video gaming as a whole, and that's contract theory. Contract theory of ethics is that both sides are in agreement with each other on what is and isn't allowed. If one person disagrees with the prearranged agreement, then all bets are off and it's free game. This generally is how gaming and societies are generally set up, with the contract in this case being between ourselves, the gamer, and the developer, in this case DICE. DICE sets up what each weapon is supposed to do damage-wise, and we agree that it's acceptable and play the game, or we disagree and we decide not to play or purchase the game. In this, it is agreed that no weapon shall be too powerful or underpowered, and that we won't cheat or change the code in order to get an unfair advantage. In the case of the DC-15LE, this contract has technically been broken by one party and allowed players to use the weapon as otherwise not intended. So then it becomes a gentleman's agreement on whether to use it or not between you and everyone else in your lobby. If you choose to use it, there's no repercussions since the contract has been breached, and it frees up people to use it. In this instance, it's not unethical or ethical to really use the weapon, since we can't even get a general consensus within the community on whether it's acceptable or not. Also, on certain situations like PlayStation and Xbox, there's no chat between the teams, so you can't get a general consensus in the lobby on whether or not it should be allowed. If everyone in a lobby then came to an agreement that yes, it would be wrong to use the DC-15LE, and one person broke that agreement, then that would be unethical on their part. However, again, since you can't do that on the consoles, it's not unethical to use the weapon since there's no such agreement in place. So in summary, there's really no clear answer, and like most things ethics related, there's tons of gray area. This was mainly just a ruse to get you to learn something about ethics in life, and you're welcome. Honestly, I don't care if you use it or not, or if you use bugs and glitches in general. It is super annoying when it happens to you, but everyone does have a chance to use them. As long as you're not using a third-party program or hack, if it's in the game, it's fair use. Games are meant to be fun, and as long as you're having fun, who really cares what other people are doing? If you're getting annoyed or frustrated because someone's using a bug or a glitch, take a break, take a breath, and step away from the game for a little while. And just remember that it doesn't really matter in the long run.
But beware of the dark side. Anger, fear, aggression. The dark side of the Force of aid.
Today in Can I Get Up There, where we see what we can get on top of. Some of it's useful, most of it's not, but it's always fun. We're on Tatooine, and we can only get halfway up there. Even as a rocket trooper, it's not possible to get to the top of this ship. So again, we need to use Spider Heavy, and this is only accessible to the Empire and Galactic Assault, but to everybody in Blast. There's a ship that's been discarded and is sticking up, and if we get to the base, you can Spider Heavy halfway up and get sight of the cantina roof for the most part, and the other rooftops as well. It's not all that useful, but I really wanted to get on top of this ship. I'm sure I'll keep trying, and if I can manage to do it, I will definitely let you know. Thank you all for watching, and as always, I will see you in game.